Hey everyone, it's me Erica, and today I'm going to be doing a discussion video on Cinder by Marissa Meyer. I am going to be going into spoilers, so if you haven't read this book, just know that it's a science fiction retelling of Cinderella, and it's a lot more than that, but that's all I knew going into it, and I think it really makes your expectations low enough so you're already surprised coming into the world. At least I was. So if you haven't read this book, I would definitely recommend checking it out if you like science fiction or just want something really unique. And I think this definitely offers something fresh and new to the table in YA. So if you haven't read this book yet, I definitely would check it out. So yes, Cinder by Marissa Meyer. Here is my book. I don't bring the dust jackets with me to college. So, and I know none of us like to look at just like a black book. Like, that's boring. So don't worry, I got you guys. Ready? Boom. It's like the dust jackets here. So yes, if you haven't, again, read this book, I would go right now because I'm about to get into some spoilers. So to start this discussion off, I would like to say that going into this book, I didn't think I was going to like it. I was on the fence about it for some reason. Like, I like science fiction and I like fairy tale retellings, but something about it just made me pause and really question if this was a book for me. Even though everyone was raving about it, everyone was loving it, I really thought I wouldn't like it. But I landed up liking it quite a good amount, I'd say. I gave this 3.5 out of 5 stars. Right away, we're thrown into this world of New Beijing, and it is after a Third World War has happened, I believe, and it's Cinder working as a mechanic in this kind of marketplace town area, and it already really sets up this atmosphere for you. So right away we are introduced to Cinder and her cyborgness, and I thought that was really interesting. I think that's the part that made me the most nervous about this book, was her being a cyborg, but I liked it, you know, the whole atmosphere of the book and the science fiction of it and the androids and all the technology that they had really grew on me, and I came to really love it. Her android friend Aiko, seriously one of my favorite characters, and I really hope that she's brought back later in the series because she got kind of dismantled, I guess, and luckily Cinder was able to save her personality chip. I would have not been okay if that didn't happen because Aiko was such a unique and amazing character, I thought, and I just think the story would lose a really unique part of its charm if she was really gone. Oh yeah, and her stepmom was freaking horrible. She made me want to throw the book across the room. Like, I couldn't even deal with her. She was saying these things and I was like, oh, look, you need to stop. Something needs to happen to you where you go away. And I hope something does. The main thing I really enjoyed about this book was the world. I love how there are these lunar people on the moon and their kind of challenges with the earth people and how some of them are amongst them. The one thing I really liked was the fact that it wasn't just New Beijing dealing with the massive force of the moon. I feel like in a lot of books we just center on a place like America, and that's all we see interfering and interacting with these big forces. I would think logically that other countries and places in the world would chip in and help or have some type of say in what the heck is going on, but we only really seem to have only this one country or one place dealing with this one force, you know what I mean? And I really like how this was different, and because it brought in different countries and we got the whole world coming together against these lunar people. So I really enjoyed that small factor. It definitely added a realistic tone to the book. On to the plot. I really liked the whole disease aspect and how much that was an influence on the book, and I didn't expect that going into it. You know, all I knew was that it was a fairy tale retelling with science fiction elements, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it, of how the lunar people actually had brought it to Earth and stuff like that happens. So I also think that made it really realistic, even if the people aren't necessarily realistic. The whole ordeal of the disease is. There was one thing that I just couldn't deal with in this book, and it's the main reason why I didn't give it anything higher than a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's because it was predictable, and I predicted exactly who Cinder was right when they mentioned that there was a lost princess. I'm like, I hope I'm wrong, but I think it's Cinder. And sadly, that is the one reoccurring theme in books that I dislike the most, is when characters are ordinary and just go about their business like an ordinary person, maybe even less normal, you know, like poor or really struggling in this difficult situation, like Cinder being a cyborg, just having all this prejudice against her, along with her being lunar later. You know, she's got a lot going against her, but then we find out, oh, they're special. She's the princess, you know what I mean? And so we see that in Harry Potter, and I'm not hating on Harry Potter, I'm just mentioning that it's in that book, and then it's in Percy Jackson, and then it's in the Mortal Instruments and the Infernal Devices, and all these books, and I'm just so sick and tired of seeing these ordinary people all of a sudden becoming super special. That's just a trope that I cannot deal with, and I cringed when I thought of her being the princess. And you find out at the end that she is the princess, and that just left a really sour taste in my mouth at the end of this book. Another thing about that was such a significant part of the plot in this book. You know, the prince, that was his goal, and that's what really made Cinder fear for the prince's life, is when Queen Levana found out that the prince was looking for the lost princess. And it's just summed up in this one book. Oh, problem solved. It's Cinder. You know, the lost princess is Cinder. So it's like that kind of part of the plot is kind of resolved. The mystery of where is she? Both Levana and the prince are looking for her. You know, it just seemed like a cop-out almost that, oh, it's Cinder. You know, we don't have to look for her anymore. She's a freaking main character. I did tab a couple of really good parts in here. I really enjoyed the relationship between Cinder and the prince. I thought it was really cute, of course, and I'm a sucker for romance, so I just loved all the gushiness, especially when he asked her to the dance. The ending with him just really seeming like he hated her, you know what I mean, was disgusted by her being lunar, and then like him holding her foot that had fallen off, and it's just, it makes my heart break. But I know that he'll come around. Something will happen, they'll get back together. I'm not concerned. I definitely really did enjoy this book despite the big issues that I had with it. So I'll definitely continue on with this series, and I think I will really like the rest. I think the ending of this book will kind of subside, and I'll accept it and learn to move on from her being the princess. Leave your thoughts down below on Cinder. I would really love to discuss with you guys. I know most of you have already read this book, so, you know, maybe we can talk about some other parts in the book that I maybe didn't mention, or your thoughts on her being the princess, and if you saw it coming a mile away like I did. So thank you all for watching my discussion video, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!